Alright, sir.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Coming at you.
Coming at you live. Here. Hey guys, welcome back to Cast with Friends. I'm your host, Jose Alvarado, back with my good friend, Ryan Odegaard. Ryan, say your name and your age.
You kind of did. Yeah, I'm Ryan Odegaard, and I'm 23.
That's sick. So,
Think about that.
dude, I know. I think I have to think about things like that all the time. When people ask me how old I am, sometimes I say I'm 21. Because, like, it's literally just a freaking thing. But, no, today we're just going to talk about anything that comes up. We're really just going to have a conversation. Ryan, do you want to go over those, like, telomeres you were talking about earlier?
No.
You don't?
Because I'm no expert.
Oh, I mean,
I'm just like...
that's fair. Tell them.
Be careful, okay, Ryan?
Yeah, oh, I will.
So concentration, please.
Quite.
No te distrayes.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, oh god, okay.
What's your favorite type of car?
Type of car? I would say, type would be like muscle car.
Muscle car? What kind of truck do you like?
You know, I mean, like, I'm really fond of
Chevy trucks?
Yeah.
Like, is there a certain, like a certain time period, like the 60s or like the 70s Chevys, or like...
I really like 50s, 55, early 60s, but I can't afford those.
Why are they so expensive?
Well, I mean, they had like just an appeal to them.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, back then, and I mean, like, I guess now, because I mean, like, the ones who developed them and like grew up with them, like, are still interested, and kind of like takes them back into that like an ambiance, but like what's nostalgia?
Nostalgia.
That's the
Like
word.
that guy that ate that ratatouille at the end of the movie and like then remembers his childhood and like...
Yeah, exactly.
So, but like, why is it so? Is it expensive because it's a vintage thing? Is it expensive because they're rare? Like, what is it about it that makes them a collector's item?
A bit of all the above. I mean, like, there's so much innovation and stuff. It's like, well, the funny thing is, like, with computers, I mean, like, it's totally different. It's like, why would you want the old stuff that's slow and like, I guess there is like an appeal, which is that nostalgia again of like using it in the past, and it's just more like human nature, or like human, not necessarily nature, but like what would you call it? Like quality that just is like everyone has, you know, like almost like curiosity.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a little different with different types of things. Like you said, a laptop won't really hold its value, but some really cool Chevy's truck from the 50s holds its value great and even increases its value, right?
Yes.
So, like, what is it about cars, I guess, that people just really fall in love with?
It's like, I mean, it's also like utility. I mean, like, you can use them. I mean, like, it's not something that you alone can enjoy, but like you and like a group can enjoy. And like, it's like, there's a little bit more to it. I mean, there's also, I mean, like, just because of like what it's made out of. I mean, like, what it takes to make a car, like, is like quite a process, I guess.
How do you feel about the people who like will buy a really nice vintage car and then just keep it in the garage as like a trophy and never use it?
I can respect that because I mean, like if it is to that point where it's like original and like it becomes like historic,
right?
Where you'd want to like preserve those sort of things. And I mean, like, I'm not necessarily against it. I mean, there are like tons of cars that have like already been like modified, I guess, like earlier on, so they're not quite as like desirable due to that factor that they're not like original. And I mean like originality, I mean,
like how important is that, right?
It tends to be important when it comes to just like people who want, again, that nostalgia. They want to see it and they want to just be instantly reminded, like no other thought comes into mind.
Right.
So like and it's also like a kind of a pridal sort of sense where it's like, I was able to keep it this long.
Yeah, people are really proud of their cars, and like they definitely have a good connection to it. What are your connections to your cars? Like, what when you see a car, what makes you go, I need to have that? What is it about it?
What is it about it? So every car has like its own features, its own like desirable qualities. And I mean, like, one thing about like throwing too much at one particular like object is it like becomes overwhelming. And it's like oh god. like if it's like something like neon on like a building, it's like oh god, it's like it's kind of, it's not quite as appealing as something that's more like neutral, sort of sense.
Easy to the eyes.
Yeah, easy to the eyes. Something that looks, again, like how you like your computer, like sleek.
Right.
Like cutting edge almost. Like,
no, yeah.
Like, in a way. So it's kind of like the same sort of thing. And so with cars, it's like they all have their own certain appeals to them, like a certain like feature that just makes it like what it was intended to be, like with off-roading. I mean, like you can have like large tires and like a big engine, and it sounds like deep and throaty, but it's nothing compared to like a car necessarily that is totally different. I mean, it's like I'm not saying like that's like a bad thing. I'm saying like they're just totally different objects. I mean, like they have totally different purposes, is what I mean. And like, so it almost becomes like their own like individual thing. It's almost like, in a way, you could think of it as like a motorhome. Like, you're not gonna like use a motorhome to go like ripping up the streets with like burnouts and stuff like that.
That would be crazy to see.
That
though.
would be crazy. I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure, and people do it. I mean, I've seen it on YouTube. It's not necessarily practical, but it's crazy to see, and it's fun. It's entertaining.
It's fun, definitely entertaining.
So I mean, like, there are certain things that, like, also I guess tying into like a nostalgia sort of thing. Like, there's a certain like feeling that you get in like a certain year, like a certain type of car, like when we're listening to like 70s music and like a 70s car, it like puts you back in that time when there's no one else around and you're just like driving through
it's like a time machine.
Yeah, it's like time machine practically.
Yeah,
and it's pretty cool. Like, and it's like a kind of like its own thrilling experience.
Well, to that point, I don't know. I guess this is just my opinion, but I don't see anyone 20 years from now driving an '02 Corolla and trying to, you know what I mean? Like I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
So what is it about like cars now versus like because again, I don't see anyone driving some pickup 4x4 pickup Ram Dodge truck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, like, the funny thing is like there's like the Corvair. And the Corvair had its like extra slogan or something that somebody else put on. I forgot what the guy's name was, and he wrote a book about it. But it was like unsafe at any speed. And I mean, like it would like flip over, and like the engine would like drop out of its like engine bay, and like tons of problems, horrific problems. And same with this car, the Ford Pinto.
So what do you think about diesel?
Diesel's cool. Diesel's pretty cool.
Do you think it's ever going to go out of style?
I don't think it's with diesel. I mean, like, it's now becoming a style in a way.
Oh, I do know what you mean, because so many people are turning to electric, or like hybrid, or
and like they're able to like tune them and like put them into like outrageous cars that you wouldn't even think that like this engine would like be in, and they'd be like monster like burnout machines and like
that's crazy.
riggers and stuff. And so like it's kind of like just now becoming like a style in a sense, because I mean like before it was like utility, it was like you get great gas mileage, and like my boss was even saying he's got like a GMC 2500 HD, like 2003, extended cab or something. Anyway, and he's like, I can just leave the thing running for like days and it like won't run out of gas.
And it's diesel.
And it's like diesel.
Wow.
I mean, like it will run for like quite a while.
Right. I think that eventually diesel will become the minority, and then it will just kind of boil down to a kind of a preference and a little like mini culture within cars.
Right.
I don't know.
So I mean, they like, you've heard about like how in California and was it Washington or even Oregon or something? I think Kate Brown too was saying that like they want to totally like prevent any auto manufacturer from producing a gasoline powered vehicle, and they're all going to go to electric.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like forcing it by hand.
2035 or something, something like that.
Huh.
And so what I could kind of see happening is like gas will still be like available, and like parts will still be made up until a certain point, and then there will be like a switch to like, you're probably either gonna have to switch it to like a diesel powered engine and like actually like use diesel instead of gasoline for like better hydrocarbon whatever ratings, pollutants, and I could definitely see that. And I mean like even what was it, even the Hummers like just come out with a all electric 1,000 horsepower.
What?
Yeah, like brand new freaking. I don't know if I think they like almost sold out of them too or something.
Wow.
Something like that. Yeah.
Would you ever make the switch? Would you ever go buy an electric car?
Yeah, I mean like they're freaking. It's amazing how they work, and I mean like why the hell not? I do like the way like electricity is like a thing in like many things, including even like humans.
Yeah.
I guess like we fire off of like micro pulses of electricity.
like synaptic pulses.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
We send messages through neurons and
Exactly.
that whole ordeal.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool how the strides we've made in the electric cars, and like pretty soon we'll have Teslas, doing taxis with no conductor, right, and just the passenger. And that's gonna be crazy. You're just gonna be watching TV while your car does all the work. When do you think people are gonna get like comfortable with driving with conductorless cars?
I feel like there has to be like a generation to kind of like pass away before that becomes a thing. It'll eventually just like become normal.
I don't agree to the extent that a whole generation has to like pass,
Maybe
but
not
I do
generation, but like
I do think it is gonna take
maybe even a couple generations. I don't know, because I mean like I still like gas powered cars, but mainly like the sound. I mean like if I could get the same sort of power, I mean, out of electricity and like an electric motor, I guess why not?
You know what? I feel like people are naive enough to buy into a driverless car. You know why? I think about it like this: when the first car came out, when Henry Ford first made the assembly line, and everyone could buy a car, people hopped into those things as fast as they could. I mean, obviously it was only the people who had the money for it, but they hopped into those cars, and they had no idea what they were like getting. They could have been all blown up that week, but they trusted it, And in that same sense, I think once AI and like these cars can really drive by themselves really well with a very small chance of an accident, then I think people are really gonna just start hopping on that idea and just normalize it.
Right. Yeah. Man. Yeah. Oh God, I have like a great point for that. Like it's cutting edge technology. It's like, again, you want like the new things because it does make life like easier. Certain things, like instead of having to like take a freaking wagon all the way over like across the like state, you can just hop in a plane and just like fly over, just get a car and just drive over.
Right.
It's much faster. So I mean, like the usefulness and like how just helpful it's been, but at the same time, like what it does is it kind of like how would I put it, kind of weakens you in a way, because I mean, like you're not enduring like the weather and stuff if you were like out in a wagon train. I mean, like again, I mean, like that stuff is also like life threatening.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely cushioned our lives as a society.
Yes.
Like we don't have to fight or fend for food. We don't have to, well, for the most part, but
yeah, exactly. And so I mean, like with that sort of aspect, I mean, like I can see why like people would want the new thing. It's always like it's easier, it's better, it's like it's moving forward. It's like, well, now like the whole idea is like, why stay like now when you're supposed to move forward? And it's even like with like like you have a bad breakup or something. It's like you can't live in the moment. You gotta move forward. You got it, because I mean, like you dwell on it and it's just bad news.
Yeah, life is gonna move forward with or without you. So you better.
So yeah, so it's like you got to keep going. And I mean, like there's also something about like bringing something from the past and like re-engineering it or like adding to it that can make it better, that kind of like suits to like today's standards or even past or like whatever. Because I mean, in that sense, it's kind of like an art.
Yeah, I mean, that's
like,
what happens with music. You know, sampling and all that,
art,
like remixing. And
also, like cutting edge and whatnot. Yeah, exactly. Sampling.
It's totally revitalizes like
it's retro.
It's retro. Yeah.
And God damn it, this. Oh man, this podcast.
I know it's all over. But where do you see, like, take electricity out of it, because I think that's kind of obvious and given. Take that away from this question, but where do you see the trend going next for automobiles?
Like basically aerodynamic and efficient.
Yeah.
Like that's probably
Are
the simplest way.
Are all these new cars going to start looking like McLarens, just super aerodynamic and curvy?
I wouldn't be surprised if eventually, that became like a normal thing. If they can like print out, I mean, like they're gonna start. They have like freaking printers now that can like start to print like metal, small objects.
That's
but,
crazy.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just start like printing full bodies of cars and then just selling them like as easily as that, and then just putting electronics in them.
Is a solid body, is a solid frame, a one-piece frame, is that stronger than a frame that's built together by parts? I don't know the physics. I don't know how that works. What do you think?
Well, I mean, like, it depends on how you design it.
Okay.
It all depends on design. I mean, like, and then what you're using to like really hold all that together. I mean, like, the kind of materials that you're using.
Well, if you let's take out those types of variables. Let's say you have two of the same frames and the frame is built out of the same material. The only difference is that one was made by a 3D printer, so it's just one piece, one material, one continuous
compared to one that's like has diversity, which is
more
specific,
compared to the one that's
more reality
created by parts, which is the real life one
scenario. Well, if the thing's made out of like titanium, it's probably gonna be a lot better than like some like a normal car. But the thing about it is, like with parts, if something is damaged, then you can easily replace it because you can replace that individual
that is
part.
true. That's a good point.
If the whole body becomes a frame, then as soon as it gets dented in a certain way, you either have to chop it up and like put on a new piece,
Yeah.
or you totally scrap the whole thing.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. I don't know why I didn't.
So then it becomes, and you know what, they kind of had this back in like the 60s, which was like a unibody where it
Oh, this was a thing?
it kind of was a thing, yeah. And they'd have like a frame that extended off of a body, and you would have your like front suspension removable at that point, at the point of the frame, and I mean, like that's how it is with a frame car anyway. It's like removable from there. But
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you explain something to me?
what?
Why did like the essential components of a car not really like the basic components that makes an engine and everything under the hood? Why didn't that like change or advance for like the first 40 years? I feel like it wasn't like there was
Like
no big
combustion, like
yeah.
they just went bigger instead of like trying to like innovate into something else.
Yeah.
They kind of did with like electricity. Like there was an electric car back in the like 1910s or something that I think Edison produced like one of, and a couple other people produced like one of. But the thing was like electricity was a little bit harder to kind of like control at that time with like batteries and capacitors, and like they didn't have like certain
Right. I mean,
components.
I understand like not being able to control electricity, but also what about like making the engine more efficient, or like
So
fine tuning the product?
Yeah, gas took over because it was like a moneymaker. Because there was like a process of which it needed to be like refined and like sold and like consumed, and like so it just blew up from there. It was just like capitalists like taking over and just making it a thing, just like with like the railroads and like with like other oil and like things like that. And it's going back into, we're like almost like turning back the times, going back into like when monopolies were a thing right now, and it's like starting to be a big like redo of like replay in time, and it's almost like, what did we not learn the first time?
America has a tendency of that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's understandable, I guess. Like no one's perfect.
No, that's true. Things do happen.
But it sucks when you have to go through it, like, as a whole.
Yeah. The consequences of one affects us all.
Yeah.
So you can find us anywhere.
It's either you were going on, and there was an actual war.
We usually punch them when we appreciate you guys. Thank you. Give a little fist to the camera. Say goodbye. So in between, and anything in Spotify, Apple. All right, 3, 2, 1. Bah! Of Cast with Friends. This has been another episode with Cool. Well, guys.
But yeah.
All right. This is good.
Yeah, I got it all.
You-
Experience more than like, I kind of value like, I mean, I can't like business oriented. It's become more like, it's just not the same, and so much honor. I felt like, and I'm sure like prideful, or you get taken over, fight, or it's either what it's become.
like who they pick and choose. Messed up about how, and also like recruiter joining the army, that option, and like they don't have another option. Like, these people feel, I mean, because it makes me feel like, and it's so sad and straight up.
Really?
The time they answer it, 75% of them, what they do is they go up to who are in the military.
Risking your life doing it, technology though, but you try out that cutting edge tech. You do get to
It's so weird. Like, I'd look at the.
very scared, and there was some that were. There was probably some that were probably like geared up, ready to go.
Could you imagine being the. Like, could you. Like, they'd. Oh, man.
I mean,
They got drafted. One kid that was excited when.
yeah,
That's so true. What do you think it was like? Yeah, that's insane, dude.
practically art.